We didn't get to talk last week because you were out in California scouting for the Steelers. Please take this in any direction. I don't know. I know you were in Los Angeles. You're in San Diego a bit. If you can just let our listeners and viewers what you were doing out there, and we can kind of go from there. Take this in any direction you'd like.
So when I'm done, and first of all, a huge shout out to Omar Khan, who's the GM. Major shout out to the Rooney family, and also Coach T and front office and staff. But really just giving me this opportunity. This is a dream job, so for me it's not a job. You know what I'm saying, Mark? But to actually go out in the field, like I was excited to go out in the field and see how this thing works. Big shout out to Calvin Fisher. Calvin kind of took me under his wing. He's one of the head scouts for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big shout out for him. And just teaching me and showing me, you know, what to look for, what to do, what not to do, how to write a report, positive, negative summaries, give grades on guys, first, second, third, fourth, fifth round, free agents. So, and for me, which helped me out, Mark, it was me already watching tape because I'm a tape head. So now I go from watching tape to have to write the report, but now we can really go in depth with it. So I get to see and talk to the kids, not talk to, but I get to see them personally. Like, so now I get to talk to a position coach, the weight room coach. Like, you're starting to get more in depth to it. So, and honestly, went to USC, Chris Carter I played with, Sean Noah I played with, UCLA, Sean Foster. He's now in the strength and conditioning. Major running back for UCLA back in the day. So I'm starting to see a lot of people I didn't play with are now into coaching or into something for their college. And I'm like, check that off. Man, this really gonna help me. You know, so just seeing how these kids interact, for me, Mark, it's not a job. It's something, like I got a vision, I have a plan, and you already know because we talk off script a lot on what I really want to be when it comes down to it by the end of the day. But Mark, man, if you this like a dream come true. You know what I'm saying? I look forward to it, you know. Just writing reports. I still have to finish writing a few guys and write what I need to and sending it off to the boss man. But I could have been finished it off, but I needed something to do. So, you know, give me something to do and look forward to through each day. But and just wanting to be part of the Pittsburgh organization and wanting to have some kind of input in drafting players to hoist another Lombardi. I want to be a part of that process. I did it as a player. I want to be a part of it as a scout and in the front office. So that's where I'm at with it. And I'm not going to overanalyze. I'm not going to overthink. And you say it all the time because you've been around me going on 3 years. Like, I always use my eyes and my good instinct. Like, I don't never second guess nothing. So this is exactly what I'm doing. You know, when I look at a player, I write reports. I'm not going to overanalyze nothing. Boom, I sit it in, I'm good. But I think the good man has given me a gift, and that's having the eye for talent. So I'm finally getting to use my eyes.
When you're at these schools, how many players are you analyzing? And then are you watching them in practice? Are you watching tape with the coaches? When you're actually there, what is it that you're doing, Ike?
So you're watching tape with the other scouts because it's other scouts there as well. So you're watching tape with the other scouts. We all evaluating. But you don't watch with the players. The players, they're on their own schedule because they're in college, so they have things to do. So you get to go in practice, and practice just give you a gauge. Practice just give you a gauge, Mark, on asking questions to other players about players you're looking at. Like, hey, who the alpha on this team is right here? And you already got your list. And if it's one of the guys that you got on the list, you like, check that off. All right. Who's the most interesting player on this team? and you just ask random teammates, if it's one of the guys on the list and why. If it's one of the guys on the list, it's like, all right, cool. So it's just you can get more in depth onto them personally by asking their teammates, because their teammates know everything about them, whether it's on the field or off the field, personal life, academics, blase, blase. So that's what I can touch you. I can touch you now. So it's a difference between, and you and I know this, before we was always on call. So we always did Zoom. We always did it through here. But then when you actually came to Orlando and we touched and we sat down and we talked and we had that ride together towards one of the games on Saturdays when I was coaching, it's a little bit different. So now it hits a little bit different. It's like, okay, I know this person. So that's what these trips does. When you take these trips, you get to actually, in a short amount of time, try to gauge and get a feel on guys you're looking at that you can possibly draft.
Big difference in person versus seeing something on tape, Ike. You stole my follow-up question. My last question is going to be this, Ike. Of all the facilities that you saw, which was most impressive and why? Because some of these major D1 schools, oh, baby.
What I didn't know was USC was a private school. That's what I didn't know. So once I found that out, I'm like, oh, that's why these locker rooms look like this. That's look like this. Like somebody could just write a blank check and be like, man, have at it. Don't even worry about it. Whatever y'all need, y'all get. So, but when you just go to the state of California, in the time I went, the high was 78, the low was 55. It's just like, the weather's so good over there, it just puts your mind somewhere totally different to where your own mind sitting in traffic for 3 hours. Because, traffic bad as hell over there on that West Coast.
Oh, yeah.
Brutal. Brutal. So for me, it was just like, man, if I had opportunity to kind of rewind my career and the colleges I could have been to, it would have been one of these colleges on the West Coast, because, man, this is good living. This is real good living. Because Cali for me, I always like to step ahead on things they do when it comes down to just the environment, whether it's eco, go green, anything innovative. I think Cali, always, a step ahead. Then we all got to catch up, moving from Cali all the way to the south, northeast. So, but yeah, Mark, just to see them facilities, I'm like, dang, I had to run my Ford in a horse pasture. That's what I had to do. I said, man, these kids got they got a smoothie kit right in their weight room. Them boys got massage therapists on site. I said, man, I ain't know nothing about a massage to my second year in the league. These boys getting that as soon as they hop out of bed and come from class. So it's just fun to see, But for me, it was just California different, all the way different, Mark. But to see them colleges in a big city, just swallow a big college up. Like you can drive past UCLA and not even know it. You can drive past USC and not even know it, But once you get inside that college, you like bread, cheese, fetty. Wow. number money around here, baby.
Ike, you mentioned the traffic. I've been all over the country. I grew up in the Chicago suburbs. I've been to the Big Apple, New York. The city's so great they named it twice, and Atlanta. All three, traffic can get absolutely crazy. Right. LA, when you're in bumper to bumper at like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. at night on the interstate, no thank you. So the traffic out there, been to LA a few times, Ike. Do not miss that.
I see why when you have money and you live in LA, you buy you a helicopter.
Yes.
I see why people do that in LA. That's when you know you got money. Hey, what's your Uber? On my Uber, the tail number on the helicopter. So we'll get there ASAP. If you got to be there for 8 o'clock and you got that kind of money and they stressing like, man, we need like an hour and a half, window because of this traffic. And you got all that money sitting in the bank. Mm-hmm. You're like, nah, we're gonna take the chopper. We'll get there in 10 minutes. We straight. So it's a little bit different. But now I see why them boys who got that money over there, they buy them a chopper.